Now, I think I speak for all Clone Wars fans when I say we have waited a long time for this, and it was a day that I honestly never thought would come. I thought when we got Season 6 on Netflix several years back now, that would be it. That would be the closest thing to an actual ending to the show we'd ever get. And considering how abruptly the show got cancelled when Disney took over, a mistake I'll talk more about in a bit, I was just happy to get those dozen more episodes, which were all pretty damn good. But then we got the announcement roughly a year and a half ago now that the Clone Wars had been saved, that it would be coming back for one final season that would also give it a fitting end. And coincidentally enough perhaps, it came shortly after they showed that first trailer for the animated series Resistance, a trailer that got ruthlessly torn apart online, to put it mildly. And since then, all we could do was suffer through 2 seasons of Resistance as we patiently awaited the return of the Clone Wars. And though I am truly thrilled to have the show back, this is a day that will be long remembered, and I highly enjoyed this first episode of Season 7, it is an episode we've gotten before, albeit a rough or not fully animated version that was shown off at Star Wars Celebration 2015 and was later released online for everyone to see. Now granted, it looks terrific, and not just in comparison to the rough version we got several years back, but in general it looks like the Clone Wars team not only didn't lose their touch, but things look better than ever perhaps. Also, it wasn't just a complete shot-for-shot finished version of what we got before. There was some changes to the dialogue and even at least one entirely new scene. There may have been others, but I only noticed the one. Sorry, it's been a while since I watched the original version. Anyway, that new scene was a sad yet excellent and poignant one where Rex laments all the troopers they've lost along the way. And as I've said before, one of the great things about this show is all the depth that it adds to the clone troopers, that it turns them all, or many of them, into individual characters, something the movies never had time to really even begin to explore. For example, Rex and Cody do feel very similar in many ways. Both are very loyal to their Jedi generals, Anakin and Obi-Wan, but they don't feel like the exact same character when they very easily could have. Now you might be hard-pressed to sit down and list the differences between them, but they are there, and you can almost just tell or sense them, thanks to the subtle differences in everything from their voices to the way they behave, which is a testament to the skill of the writers and to the incredible way D. Bradley Baker, the guy who voices every single clone, makes each one sound or talk a little differently. It's truly impressive. And in this episode, we actually get introduced to a squad of 4 very different clones that have, as Cody put it, desirable defects, and they're called the Bad Batch, or Clone Force 99, which is a nod to 99, another defective clone from a previous episode or episodes, who helped a different squad of clones, that being Domino Squad, overcome their differences in personality that had been preventing them from working together. And one of the clones in that squad was Echo, which was the same clone that seemed to be transmitting some sort of signal at the end of this episode, even though he's supposed to be dead. And I won't say any more than that in case you're someone who's never seen the rough versions of these episodes and doesn't want anything spoiled. Anyway, this Bad Batch is made up of Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, and their leader Hunter, 4 vastly different characters or personalities with very different skill sets, and you can kind of guess those skill sets just based on their names, who work extremely well together and use more aggressive tactics than regs or regular clones. Which then translates into an action-packed, highly entertaining episode as we watch this squad take down plenty of droids as part of a mission to try and figure out how or why the droid army has gotten as good at predicting their tactics as it has, which is a slight departure from the original or rough version where Rex believed the droids had gotten their hands on an algorithm he'd created, one that Echo also knew and had studied. Other than that, though, and the added scene I mentioned before, there's not much of a difference outside of appearance or how good it looked between the rough version and this finalized one. At least not that was overtly obvious to me, though I'm sure someone else out there will make a video of the 3,242 things that are different between the 2 versions, and more power to the poor person who combs through both versions to do that. Anyway, as much as I did or do enjoy this episode, it's not the first time I've seen it, and the whole Bad Batch arc, I am torn between being happy to get this finalized form and wishing we could have either got a completely new arc or seen one of the other arcs finished that hadn't ever been released in any sort of rough form. Yes, some of those arcs have already been seen elsewhere. There's a Son of Dathomir comic series and the novel Dark Disciple that go into two of them, but others, like an arc about the bounty hunters where young Boba Fett actually kills Cad Bane, or seems to, that I would have really loved to have seen. Though, then again, maybe I wouldn't, since I do love the character Cad Bane, and I don't think I actually want to see him killed off. And no, I'm not trying to complain here. In a perfect world, yeah, they would have finished all the arcs that had been planned and or partially completed, and maybe given us some new ones. But I really am just happy to be getting any new Clone Wars at all. And though, again, I'm a fan of the Bad Batch arc, it's great, I don't really have much more to say about this first episode, or to add any more to my brief review. I'm also worried I'll say something stupid that will spoil the rest of the arc. I will say, though, that I'm more looking forward to the next two arcs, the one where we see what Ahsoka does right after leaving the Jedi Order, before we then get to see the Siege of Mandalore, which will take us right into and parallel events that take place during Revenge of the Sith. That, I have no doubt, will be awesome to see, even if I have read the Ahsoka novel, which, for better or worse, does spoil some of what should happen there. And I say should because I suppose they could slightly change or retcon or add to things. And really here, setting those minor complaints aside, getting this show back, even if it is just 12 episodes, is a win for Star Wars fans. Though canceling it right away when taking over was one of the worst decisions Disney may have made in regards to Star Wars, though you could certainly argue scrapping the whole EU was a far bigger one, and I'm not even going to talk about the sequel trilogy, but bringing it back, even in a limited capacity, has been one of their best decisions. And with how fantastic The Mandalorian turned out to be, at least Season 1, and with how great this is almost certainly going to end up being overall, to say nothing about a game like Jedi Fallen Order, I can happily say it's nice to see Star Wars get a bit back on track. And I hope this is a trend that continues. I hope that, if anything, the sequel trilogy can be a learning experience for Disney and Lucasfilm. And yes, it does suck that they had to screw up the end of the Skywalker saga, or to tack on 3 extra parts that we didn't need to learn something, but at least maybe some good will come of it, and they now realize that we fans won't just accept or pay for anything they put out there, or at least most of us fans won't. You do have those fans that love everything and anything Star Wars no matter what, and if that's the way you feel about it, so be it, I guess. But without those fans who are willing to bitch and complain a little bit, or a lot, or to get angry that they canceled the Clone Wars and to let them know about it, we probably would have never got the show back. And though you could argue it shouldn't have to be necessary, customers, and we are customers, not just fans, do have to keep companies honest. They have a sort of responsibility to give feedback, and harsh feedback at times, so that they're not taken for granted or taken advantage of. But anyway, let's not get into all that again here and now. Today is a good day, a happy day for Star Wars fans. The Clone Wars is back, and with any luck, it'll be a huge hit for Disney and or Disney Plus, and in the future, we'll get more shows like it. Because though so many think I'm just a hater, I'll happily praise them when they do or get something right, and that's what this is. This was something they got right, even if they initially got it wrong by canceling it. Yeah, they could have given us more or different episodes, and they still could, I suppose, but they could have ignored how much we fans love it and never brought it back at all. And though sure, they really did it to help sell Disney Plus, let's be honest, as I've said before, the key to good relations between fans and the businesses who own the franchises they love is listening to the fans and giving them what they actually want without cutting corners or half-assing it. And when they do that, we'll gladly give them our hard-earned money, and it's a win-win for everybody, which is exactly what it looks like the Clone Wars Season 7 will turn out to be. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you thought of either this episode, or if you think or hope this, along with The Mandalorian, is another step in the right direction. Whatever you do think, leave a comment below and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.